Game over. I'm going to game over. Well, with that being known, I guess we know that now. Let's check out PP USA. How about that? PP. It's PP time. Okay, day 1, session 1. I thought this said season 1. I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so long to have seasons. But we're here, okay? It's PP USA time. Where are they? Miami, I think? Are they in Florida again? They're like, they don't want to escape. It's like a breeding ground, man. I'm telling you, man. Like, every time Charlie Kirk goes up to talk to human beings, it never turns out well. Isn't Shu there? Yeah, Shu arrived there. She got a little lanyard that had the word communism on it, which was definitely strange. So I just want to see what's going on here. Apparently they're playing in right now. They're playing in Charlie Kirk. You know, they're crossing the Dixie. There's the old white people that we remember or something. Like we're just gonna see what's going on, man. They got a live band in there. If you didn't know, I just wanted to see what's going on in there. Did she? Yeah, she's there. Yeah, she's there. Wait, let me see if I can pull up her tweet. She's my moot for no good reason, honestly. See. Communism. But I say adult VIP. Is it gonna lounge with strippers? Yeah. What's with the adult VIP? Is there like a children's VIP? Instead of like there being like a bar, there's like a milk bar or something. You can get like different temperatures of heated milk or something. You get some apple juice. You get a couple of Danimals. Like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
This freedom at times has been high. We have never been unwilling to pay that price. It does require, however, our best effort and our willingness to believe in ourselves and to believe in our capacity to perform great deeds, to believe that together, with God's help, we can and will resolve the problems which now confront us. We are Americans.
Damn, they're going hard. Hey, there's Charlotte. There he is. That's the guy. That's the guy. That's him. It is pretty culty, man. They're hitting like bass boosting on this, man. They're all like chanting USA to the beat drop. Like, what the fuck is that? We will overcome. We are Americans. Audio jungle. Oh, wait a second. Is that like USA? Is that like not from the crowd? Because the crowd looks like they're like standing perfectly still. Holy shit, this looks like when fucking Plankton put all the goddamn chum buckets on the citizens of Bikini Bottom, and they're all just look at them, they're all just standing there. I've never seen a crowd so still in my entire life. They're just frozen, they're stunned. The widest rave. Look, they're so still. No, I've not seen a single person move an inch yet.
Thank you.
Woo! Yeah. Look at him. Man, I didn't think they were gonna hit with the like 1776, America's the greatest country to ever exist, like freaking jams. They dropping the jammies. I didn't know Charlie was gonna be walking out here with the trap remix. Damn. This guy's wearing the tightest pants known to man. Wait a second. Yo, this guy's pants are so fucking tight. Holy shit, look at that. They're form-fitting. Oh my gosh. His pants is tighter than hers. That's crazy. They're like glued onto him.
Thank you, everybody. It's a great day to be in America. What would you say?
Yeah, bud, sure.
Please take a seat, everybody. I want to just give a thanks to our amazing Turning Point USA staff that have put all this on. The work they have put in is unbelievable. Give it up for our Turning Point USA staff. They've done an unbelievable job. And we have people from all across the country here. And for those of you that have been coming to Turning Point USA events for a couple of years, look around, everybody. You are not alone, and we're going to win, and we're going to win big time. Look around. It's unbelievable. We are here to celebrate the greatest nation ever to exist in the history of the world.
Oh, he did it. 1776, America's the greatest country to ever exist. He did it. Let's go, boys.
We're here to reclaim the narrative We have over 10,000 people from all across the country.
Here, I'll be right back.
We have people from all 50 states, from Alaska. Who's from Alaska out there? Someone's there. Right there. From Hawaii. Who's from Hawaii? Someone's got to be from Hawaii. There to California. We won't hold that against you. How about Texas? We got some people from Texas here. And Arizona. I mean, come on. We got some people from Arizona. Reclaim the narrative. We have over 10,000 people from all across the country. I'm told we have people from all 50 states, from Alaska. Who's from Alaska out there? Someone's there. Right there. From Hawaii. Who's from Hawaii? Someone's got to be from Hawaii. There to California. We won't hold that against you.
No Californians.
How about Texas? We got some people from Texas here. And Arizona. I mean, come on. We got some people from Arizona.
What's with his hair? Okay, let me explain this so you don't have to explain it again. This is the hair of someone who got his hair styled specifically because he has a receding hairline, okay? And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to be mean or anything. Like, male pattern baldness is just like a normal thing. Everyone goes through it. But I'm just saying that's why, if you ever wondered why his hair looks like that, that's specifically why. It's to like, it was specifically made to like make it look like he doesn't have a receding hairline. You'll see the same exact thing from Jackson Hinkle. That's why his hair does like the little swoop over the sides specifically. The only reason it does that is to hide like the receding hairline and everything, which, you know, once again, everybody, like lots of guys go through it. It's fine. I may even go through when I get a little bit older. I am just 22. He is like closing in on 30. So, it happens like that. His pants are too tight to inflate the face. Yeah, so he doesn't get bullied. Yeah, 100%. But yeah.
America is our home. And what's been going on in our country for far too long is we have allowed self-interested politicians and liars to take advantage of us and to destroy our home. No more. We're taking back our country, everybody. We're not going to let it happen anymore.
Oh, like Trump?
We have a unique history and culture as Americans. We need to be unafraid to say that. Unfortunately, the fact that we as Americans have to now tolerate the renaming of schools from Abraham Lincoln to some sort of woke nonsense in San Francisco.
What the fuck are you talking about? We have to deal with them destroying the country, like renaming schools. Boo, boo. Well, what did they rename the school to? From like Abraham Lincoln to like Harriet Tubman? Like, what did they rename it to? Does anybody even know what they're talking about? Does anybody even understand what's happening?
That we are not putting up statues to Thomas Jefferson, but instead tearing them down. We as Americans must understand that it's a gift we get to live in the United States.
Wasn't Thomas Jefferson like kind of not great, like as a person? Like, we all know like a bunch of, listen, all right, just for me personally, I feel like if you own a human being like for fun or whatever, I just don't think that makes you, I think that kind of disqualifies you from being a good person. Okay, that just like disqualifies you for being a good, you're out of the good person running. A little rapey here and there, just a little bit of rapey, just as a taste. Yeah, he's the pedo. I forgot. He's like the pedophile slave driver. Yeah, I forgot. He's the pedophile slaver. Normal things like conservatives want to have statues to pedophile slave drivers. Normal things.
It's of America, a gift from God that we get to be Americans, the freest, most prosperous, greatest nation ever to exist.
Isn't like, so we can like say a lot of things are, we can say hyperbole or up for interpretation, but isn't like prosperous like not as, just not true for like your average American? There are other countries that are more prosperous than America, but
America has always been focused on eternal principles
for your average
rooted in the
person.
natural law. We as conservatives,
eternal
we
principles.
are people that want to conserve the good, the true, and the beautiful against those that want to try and destroy it. That means, and you saw this in the last year, and I'll talk about it in a second, that it's one thing to post something on television or to do something weird on social media. It's another thing to try to indoctrinate your kids. We're not going to tolerate that anymore. Parents are going to be first.
No more child indoctrination, okay? And that's why I've set up my own plans of indoctrination. All right, bud. Unfiltered grassroots conversation. Oh, yeah, 100%.
We celebrate our birthday every July. The fact that we as a nation have a birthday is a big deal. July 4th, 1776, when Thomas Jefferson wrote, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands of that which is tied to them in another separate but equal station, which derives from the laws of nature and nature's God. Everybody, no other country in the history of the planet, in the history of the human species, was founded on an eternal call that says you as a human being have dignity. That you.
This is untrue. So Haiti, yeah, that's the big one that I was going to bring up. Haiti's like whole thing was that they were human property, and so they rose up and stopped the people from owning them. And so the first ever constitution that they drafted after being free was all about being free and everyone has the right to humanity. The only difference is that they actually kept true to that in some regard, at least a lot more than we did, since we had to go through 1776. So what, like another like over 100 years before we even like stopped slavery after that. So, that was, normal things, right? Hey, Texas slaves escaped to Mexico because they abolished slavery before the US. Yeah. So once again, like, hey, listen, if you stop talking about all the slavery stuff, then if we stop talking about how millions of people in the country were not like considered real human beings, then it all starts to make a lot of sense, my dude.
You have a right to speech, that you have a right to organize, that you have a right to start a family. And we recognize in America, despite what the regime says currently, that those rights do not come from government, they come from God, and you have them naturally. And they can never take them away. It is government's role to protect our rights against tyranny. Government does not give you rights. Government is not going to tell you how many people you get to have over for Thanksgiving or Christmas. They work for us. The United States Constitution starts with we the people. They work for us, everybody.
Is that why? Like, there's so many important things that happen in regards to a country. And why is it the first thing that comes up with him is the government is supposed to protect our rights. The government does not give us rights. Our rights come from something eternal and beautiful, from something that goes beyond the cosmos, peers beyond the veil of veils to open up the love from the King of Kings. And this is why we are given these rights. All right. The government cannot stop you. They cannot trample on your rights, like giving grandma COVID mashed potatoes during Thanksgiving, or walking into Walmart and not wearing a mask. Fundamental rights to human civilization. Okay, buddy. Like, come on. Like, this is a prepared speech. He couldn't even bring up anything that's like that was at least real or something people actually like care about. With how, with people always saying that his face looks really small, him gaining extra forehead doesn't make him look better. I will say that.
We love our country, but right now, I'm not loving our government. We need to make that difference, because if you dare say that you don't like your government, the media says that you're unpatriotic. Questioning your government is one of the most patriotic things a citizenry can do.
Who said if you don't like your government, you're unpatriotic? Who said that? I love making up things. I love lying. It's my favorite pastime.
Never in American history have we seen the government so disconnected from the people. This is what I think drives all of you to come to an event like this. This is what motivates you to run for school board. Who's running for school board, by the way? Raise your hand. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. You're taking back the country. By the way, who homeschools? Anyone homeschool here? Raise your hand.
Ew.
You are.
So here's the thing. I think the government was more disconnected from the people back when like 70% of the people, for one, like couldn't vote, and also when most of them didn't even know what was happening, because like laws had to come to your town via like horseback 17 years after the law went into place, because it took that long for like shit to get to parts of the country. Back when the country was like 1/8 the size that it is now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure the government was more disconnected there, but whatever, Charlie. Oh yeah, and like most people couldn't read or some shit, but whatever.
School board. Who's running for school board, by the way? Raise your hand. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. You're taking back the country. By the way, who homeschools? Anyone homeschool here? Raise your hand. You are the heroes. Give it up for our homeschooling parents. The people
His hand is stuck in his pocket because talking about America makes him hard.
Are with us. Our leaders are not. The disconnect between our leaders and you has never been greater. How many times do we send politicians to Washington, D.C. or Sacramento, where they say they're going to do one thing and they do the exact opposite? You see, America has the greatest people on earth. America is the most generous, decent, benevolent, forward-thinking, productive people on the planet. And
listen, this is just like, I don't know, this is just like simple stuff that you always tell to your family. Like, I have the best dad type beat, you know what I mean? And here's the thing, okay? There aren't that many places where we're like people are so incredibly forward thinking. Like, once again, this is all just like conjecture and like I have the best family, my family is the best family type thing that any like just child says about like the family that they have, and that's fine. But like thinking about like the world as it is today and the things like people have supported here in the US. I mean, I'm sorry, we are victims of manufactured consent, and that's the whole reason why what did Bush have, like a 70% approval rating as we were invading like 17 countries across the world, none of which had anything to do with like us losing 2 towers in New York. You know, I remember that wasn't like a very forward thinking thing for us to do, actually, or like be okay with a lot of the foreign wars that we got into like pre 2001, or like the 18 year war that we got to after 9/11, you know, just like all of that stuff. It wasn't very forward thinking. You know, the Patriot Act that we all supported had like a 70% approval rating when it passed. And now people are like, actually, wait, that's not that great. Like, I'm not saying that we're stupid or anything. We're just people. And we're, you know, we like, besides out of like the nationalist like goo that he's spewing, we're just kind of people. And we're not that crazy forward thinking or anything. We're just, you know, we're just people.
We have been abused for
Goku
far too
is
long
the strongest.
by a self-righteous ruling class. In both parties, by the way, it's not even political. I think we all agree this is not even about parties. This is about right versus wrong and truth versus lies and light versus everybody.
Oh, geez. Man, these guys are like playing an RPG. Why are these guys playing an RPG? When can I get invited? This is like the intro of any RPG. The light versus dark, good versus evil, truth versus lies, the ascension versus damnation. Which side will you choose, Western man? Yeah, light from Death Note.
So how
True.
does the ruling class treat you? While our borders are wide open, over 2 million people are crossing into our country so far.
Who cares?
Inflation double digits. We give $85 billion of weapons to the Taliban. I could go on. What's the priority?
Trump signed that deal, but okay.
The priority was that all of a sudden you saw the Department of Justice in September issue a memo saying that moms and dads that show up to school board meetings across the country need to be treated like domestic terrorists. Now,
this meme is very real.
When the Department of Justice
Marjorie.
issued that letter, that was around 10 years ago, would have been really intimidated by it. 10 years ago, we would have been like, wow, the Department of Justice is saying that we have to sit down and shut up. But you know what happened next? More people showed up to school board meetings once that memo was written. More people started to question what their kids were learning. More people said, you are not going to teach critical race theory to my child. I'm not going to put up with this. And what was amazing is that the regime realized that there's something new happening in this country, and it's unexpected. And what's happening is all of a sudden, we, the sovereign in this country, are finally reclaiming our rightful role as citizens of this great country. Not participants, not spectators, but participants in this experiment.
Not participants, not spectators, but participants. Thank you, Charlie. I feel so. Is Charlie Kirk a sovereign citizen? Hell yeah, he is. Hell yeah, he is. What, are you not? Are you not a sovereign citizen right now? This is wild. Yeah, it's a little goofy. It's a little kooky. I will tell you that. But this is what we're up against. These are the weirdos that we're up against right now. And I'm sorry, there are some pretty crazy people who show up to school board meetings for like no reason. Once again, no one's teaching kids critical race theory in like 5th grade. That's not happening. They may be told that critical race theory exists and they may be given the information about it. But they're not like, okay, guys, it's time for critical race theory class, and then once you're done, it's gonna be it's gonna be 12:30, and then you guys get to lunch, and you guys get to eat your woke ice cream and drink your estrogen milk. Like, all right, bud, chill.
A nation is defined by its people, and the moms and dads that have been showing up to these school board meetings, running for school board, and doing these amazing things on the city and local level, all of a sudden, this is happening in all 50 states. in counties all across the country.
Isn't CRT for like adding perspective? Yeah, CRT is for smart people. They teach CRT to like give you perspective and everything. They teach CRT mainly the same reason for when you're in like a lot of higher education and you have to like read like Mein Kampf or something. It's to like give you perspective. It's for teaching, for learning. There's some pretty decent things that you can take from it. It's like why a lot of even like liberal sociologists like the work of Marx and like conflict theory and the way to like understand the world, because there are some like pretty decent critiques in like even if you're not a Marxist, pretty good critiques that Marx has about like is it dialectical materialism? I forget if that's it specifically. I haven't looked into this in like quite a while, but like conflict theory and everything. Yeah, Karl Marx. Yeah, it's like really big thing. So yeah, it's supposed to be adding perspective and everything. Yeah, and like I don't even know if they would have time in a normal like semester curriculum to even like really teach CRT. But this really shows you basically everything you need to know about conservatives. They're stupid. A lot of them are very, very stupid, for one. And they'll hitch on to just random shit that just makes them angry without thinking about it for like a moment in time. Like they actually unironically think that they're like some people are being taught like CRT in schools. And once again, what is CRT to them? Slavery happened. Black people were oppressed. Brown people had racism done against them. A lot of it is still happening today. Like that's critical race theory to them, basically. It's kind of cringe. Yeah, Karl Markiplier, that's true. He makes YouTube videos now. Cool guy.
And we must realize as conservatives, as people who love freedom, that there's a fundamental difference between America as a country, which we are, and that we're not a colony. This is not a place where all of a sudden you just get to go make a bunch of money and leave. We are a country that has an economy in it. We are not an economy that happens to be in a country. Now, what we have is a ruling class, people in charge, Bezos, Zuckerberg, plutocrats that hate you, that think they can make as much money off of you as possible, go give $100 million to BLM Incorporated, and then get out of here. There are more important things than making money in this world, everybody. Passing your values down to your children, having a nation you can recognize.
What is this? Bezos. Yeah, we all know about Bezos making all of this money off of you buying vibrators off of Amazon and then giving $1 million to BLM Incorporated and then leaving in their gold-plated helicopter. There are more important things that Bezos should be giving money towards, like you having baby, you passing down your carpentry skills to your baby, how tall the pole in your front yard for your American flag is. Many important things in this country that Bezos and Zuckerberg do not care for. Dude, screw Zuckerberg. I'm out for Burger King. This is truly America, a nation you can recognize. Yeah, a nation you can recognize, all right? And not one that's speaking a language you don't even understand. I can't order these tacos. I don't know what that shit means, bro. Listen, they put on Dora the Explorer, okay? That was the first time when the elites tried to indoctrinate you into the Hispanic coming into the country and speaking Hispanic. Truly the onslaught has been here for a long time. Dora is CRT, that's true. Critical Mexican theory, CMT.
Having a southern border, making sure that this beautiful gift that we've been given continues for future generations.
I'm sorry, I may just be racist, but I think we need to care a lot more about the northern border than the southern border. Have you seen the fucking people that have been coming from Canada? I think the people coming from Canada have been doing more harm to this country than the people coming from Mexico. Let me tell you.
And this is what makes this gathering different and this conservative movement different. We'll talk about high taxes and low taxes. We'll talk about free markets. We love all of those things. But we know there's a deeper game being played, everybody, than tax policy right now in our country. The game that's being played is very simple. Are you thankful that you're an American, or are you angry that you're an American? And are you willing to do something about it? That's the difference. And everybody here is committing that we're no longer going to accept the managed decline of America. We're not going to accept these weak-kneed politicians that continually say one thing and then do another.
Wait, y'all got any? Wait, I got any weak knees in chat? What the fuck is this? Weak-kneed politicians? We don't need any of these goddamn yellow belly cop politicians in office. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? This dude is such a cuck. He is giving me cuck vibes. That's true. Even his hairline cucked out. Like, I mean, come on. Yeah, I'm American. I got strong, big American knees.
And so
my
we all know
ligaments are
America's
tight.
on very fragile footing. We know out of all the different all the different things that are happening in front of us. And I want to speak specifically to the students in the audience. And by the way, Turning Point USA students out there, you guys are American heroes for what you guys are doing on college and high school campuses.
What, lying to people about what the happenings of politics today? You guys truly are the vanguard. Lying to people on a daily basis about politics truly brings a tear to my eye.
It is very hard to be a conservative in America. It's especially hard to be a young conservative on college campuses because guess what? They're telling the rest of the world, I don't care if you call me a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, a colonialist. I don't care if you kick me out of the fraternity or sorority. My country matters more than my social status. My country matters more than my Instagram likes. My country matters more than my TikTok popularity.
I don't know. This is just like, this is wild to me. We are so oppressed. I get ratioed on Twitter. I think about it every day. It's so hard to be a conservative. I wake up, I lie to people, I get ratioed, I cry myself to sleep. Truly, my country matters more than my likes on TikTok. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Is this the war that you're fighting? Is this the battleground, TikTok now? Is that it? Like, there's a whole big thing with a lot of, like, right-wingers are doing perfectly fine on TikTok. What are you talking about, man? What's happening? Right-wingers are doing perfectly fine on social media. They're fine. They're doing fine. Have you seen like Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or like Tucker Carlson, the largest talking head? It's not hard to be a conservative. You guys are just mad because when you're racist, people call you racist. It's weird.
Nation matters more than whether or not I'm popular on a college campus. And my challenge to some of the adults out here, you won't be inspired by the courage of these young conservatives on campuses that take that leap of faith. But our generation, and even a little bit younger, has some very specific challenges. We would be fooling ourselves if we were saying that this generation has all the same opportunities in front of them that prior generations had. Now, let me be clear. I think that there's something to be said that young people sometimes can work harder and apply themselves better. Fine. I think it's a mistake, though, when all of a sudden there's kind of this generational lecturing that occurs. Like, come on, when I was young, I didn't have to go to debt to go to college. I could work my way through it. Yeah, the game has changed if you haven't found out. And the best example
it's a different game, old man.
Of one of the great moral injustices ever done to our generation was how we mishandled the Fauci Chinese coronavirus.
Stop! No! The Fauci Chinese coronavirus. Bro, no way this man's gonna be on stage and like, no way. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna say Kung Flu? Is he going to say it? I'm tired, man. I'm tired, dude. I'm tired too. We all know that Dr. Antoine Fauci was busy in the lab with the president overlord Xi Jinping, all right, and John Gina, and they were Bing chilling in Hong Kong while they were busy crafting the next most deadliest fake virus. It's a real virus, but it's also fake, and it's very deadly, but also not deadly at all. And your vaccines work against it, but they actually don't. But also, it doesn't really do much, but it can feminize you, as per Tucker Carlson. As you can see, truly the most devious of licks that Dr. Antoine Fauci has pulled on the world. The most devilish lick that the devil has ever pulled. Dr. Fauci and Joe Biden. Oh no. This is the kind of man Shu finds hot, poor woman. Yeah. And
by the way, Fauci should be in prison for how he handled the Chinese coronavirus.
For why? Been feeling more femboy since you got your vaccine? That's naturally. Usually it wears off after a little while. Don't worry about it. Why is he standing like that? Is he standing weird to anybody else? He feels a little slouchy. My man's talking about Fauci. My man should fix his posture. He's got the slouchy going on. Why does he look like that? His suit looks like it's too tight. Wait, his suit is too tight. How rich is this man? Wait, why does his suit look like that? He looks like he's wearing his little brother's suit. It's way too tight up here. It's like crinkled here, and it doesn't, the sleeves don't reach down to his wrist, to the end of his wrists. Like, the only reason you should be able to see your undershirt is when you pull your hand up. You shouldn't be able to see this much. Like, wait, when he lifts his arms up, does his like blazer sleeves go all the way down to his goddamn elbows? Like, this is not how a suit is supposed to fit. It's not. Okay, whatever. Yeah, it just fit. Yeah, it used to fit me just fine. That's true. You're a big boy now. You're a little taller now. You need a new suit jacket. You wear suits all the time.
So the media is going to write this up. It's lock him up. Am I hearing that right? Lock him up? That's right. It's a crime against our generation and a crime against humanity what that self-righteous sycophant has been able to do to you, your family, and your children. Now.
Like what? Wear a mask? Is that evil? I really love how conservatives still think that wearing a mask is going to kill them. Yeah, lock them up. They had me wear a piece of half a gram of fabric over my mouth for 6 hours. Truly the most the most evil shit.
For a virus that already had a 99.5 survivability rate, for a virus that was not an existential threat to humanity, let alone to our generation, what did we decide to do?
Non-existential threat to humanity. 5.3 million, 274 million cases, 5.3 million people died, more than the population of, I think, the lower, 10 states, maybe even combined. That's all right then. I mean, sure, it wasn't going to wipe out humanity, but I don't think that people's worry was that COVID was going to wipe out humanity, and more that it was going to kill many people. But I don't know. This may just be my liberal cuck ideology, but personally, I think it's bad when people die generally, and we should take steps that make it less likely for people to die.
Down a generation that was not at significant risk. Take away their prom, their graduation, their social activities, in-person learning. We saw increases in depression, suicide, mental health issues, medication. The most suicidal, the most depressed, the most alcohol-addicted generation in American history. Then, as soon as we start to reopen... That happened
before COVID, but okay. Population of Denmark? Yeah, but nobody gives a shit about Denmark. Tell me a country that actually matters.
In the economy, millennials try to go buy a home and everything's 50% more expensive because we decided to go create $7 trillion that we don't have to go inflate all the hard assets in our country.
That's not how that works.
Played towards the next generation. And on top of it, we say, oh, now you have to go get a vaccine.
Boo.
Now you have to go get a vaccine against your will, and if you don't...
Boo. I have to protect other people. Boo. Boo. Caring about other people. Boo. How about Ireland? I feel like people get mad at me if I say Ireland doesn't matter, so sure, okay, fine, whatever.
You can't go work at a job even though you might have already got the virus, and you might not be at risk from getting the virus that you already have because you got to get a vaccine even though you already had the virus to make sure you don't get it. But it actually doesn't make sure you don't get the virus that you shouldn't get because you might not die from the virus you shouldn't get. Am I following this correctly?
What are you saying, man? Are you okay? POV, I have no clue. I have no clue how epidemiology works. But even if you got COVID, you don't know if you have immunity to COVID. 1/3 of people who get COVID don't have immunity to COVID. The likelihood of you not having immunity to the virus that you just had is actually incredibly high. Very, very high. Actually, quite high indeed. All right. Imagine if you took like a triangle in like 3D space and you threw it in like in like a sandbox generator or something, and it falls on like any given side. It's like it's an equal triangle. All sides are equal. Like you have a 1 out of 3 chance, same way as that triangle, to not have immunity. And when you do get immunity, it can fall off way quicker than the immunity with the vaccine does. So you should be getting, no matter if you've had COVID or not, you should be getting that, because once again, it is more expensive and more work to test if you have the antibodies and if they're going and when they're going to wear off, rather than when to get the vaccine. Since you've had the vaccine, you're going to have immunity, and when to get your booster shot if you need it. Like, I don't know why this is so hard.
It doesn't make sense. It does because it's insane. And
POV, I'm too stupid to understand things, so I call everything insane.
Have been very clear about this. And the fact that not every conservative has said this out loud and repeatedly, no one should be forced to get the vaccine against their will under any circumstances whatsoever. Period. End of story.
Nobody's being held. What are you talking? Wait, Charlie, Charlie, how are you going to sit here and tell me that capitalism is voluntary, but now to participate in capitalism, you have to get a vaccine, and now that's involuntary? Well, which one's voluntary, man? You want to take a trip to Coconut Island? Which either both are voluntary or both are involuntary. Tell me, because you can just decide not to work if you want. You can just do that if you want, or I guess you could try to make your own business without anybody else, and they don't have to get vaccinated. You can do that too if you want, and have like a little small business. You can do that. Yeah, free markets, except for when I don't like it. That's true. Oh, you don't want to work for slave wages? Well, just don't. Haha. Oh, you'll starve? Sounds like your problem. I have to get a vaccine? What? Why is he standing like that? His suit is too tight. Why, look at it. He's standing like his suit is too tight. It's too tight. My boy, take off the suit. You'll just look cooler. You'll be like the cool politician, you know? You look like Beto. You'll look like Buttigieg, you know? You'll be like the cool 30-year-old. Take off the suit jacket. Just vibe with your dress shirt, man, because apparently this shit just don't fit you. Oh my gosh,
talk about early
they're being hacked by communism.
We're not even allowed to have a conversation. Thought crimes, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamin D, vitamin C, azithromycin, aspirin, monoclonal antibodies, or Regeneron. No, we're not even allowed to talk about that. Instead, it's a one.
There you are. What are you talking about? They've talked about it a lot. You're just stupid. And it's been proven not to work. You just keep trying to throw it out there. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? I've seen like MSNBTs talk about this shit before, but okay.
One size fits all policy. Why? Because if you ever talked about early treatments or early intervention, then you
just listen vitamins.
You see
vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, fish oil. Man, my man's out here talking about taking fish oil for COVID. My man sounding a lot like a snake oil salesman.
Tyrants lies on your authoritarians want you to be in a position of fear.
It's all falling apart. They're being hacked.
Not fear itself. Now we say we have to shut down New York.
The ghost of Hugo Chavez is shutting down the stream.
The ruling class, 0.8 trillion wealth transfer you to screen you don't need. You got to jab your children against a virus that probably won't kill them at all, like statistically at all. And all of a sudden, what we're seeing, and we see it all across this room and across the country, people waking up to exactly the motivations of either Fauci or the whole ruling.
Magnesium, aluminum, sodium. Gold, tungsten, helium, uranium. Not allowed to talk about it. Thought crime.
Class, which is very simple. This was a means to the end for them to try to control your life and your children, and we are not going to let that happen, everybody.
True,
we are waking
unobtainium.
up against the medical industrial complex, and we're waking up to the measures against us. But it's not the only virus in America.
Vibranium. I try and bring up vibranium as an alternate to the COVID vaccine. I'm not allowed to talk about it. Adamantium. Not allowed to talk about it. Thought crime. 1984. Thought crime. Whoa, I thought we were about to change into 2022. Apparently we're going back to 1984. Whoa, thought crime.
I think there's actually a more dangerous virus than the Chinese coronavirus out there.
Woke? Is it woke?
Media, that's pretty good, I gotta say.
Is it
woke?
woke?
I disagree with that. It's the virus, and there's a lot of different words to describe it. Woke-ism, diversity.
Oh, he don't miss. He don't miss. He don't miss. I knew it. I knew that's what it's. There's a lot of words to describe it. Wokeism, stinky poo-poo headism, caring about other people-ism, cringe-ism, many words. Okay, bud.
Equity, inclusion, critical race theory, and it's everywhere.
Fucking what?
Diversity, equity, inclusion,
diversity, equity, and inclusion? I love it. I love this new conservative arc. I'm against diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know what? Keep doing that. I think that it's going to work out in the future. In the future, if more conservatives say that they're against diversity, equity, and inclusion, yeah, there's a real virus. This country, the media is telling you about the COVID, but the real virus in this country, it has many words. Wokeism, cringe, slavery abolition, civil rights, women's rights, anti-racism. So many, all of this cringe, you know what I mean? All of these horrible things tearing apart the beautiful country. You know, you wake up and you can't even recognize the country anymore.
Critical race theory, and it's everywhere. At Columbia University, they have black-only graduation ceremonies. At Western Washington University, they have black-only dormitories. United Airlines is now announcing that 50% of all the new pilots they're going to hire are going to be black pilots. I don't know about you. I don't care about the color of the skin of my pilot. I hope he can or she can land the plane when they need to land the plane.
Okay. Do you think, wait, I always wanted to ask a conservative who's done this, because I've never had the chance, but I'd always want to ask a conservative who've done this. Like, do you honestly believe that when American Airlines or Delta or whatever, when they do this, do you think that instead of finding qualified pilots, they just find random black people on the street? Like some dude will be working for like the local like insurance, like motorcycle insurance company in a small town, and then they'll just go, you want to be a pilot? And they're like, what? $150,000 a year. You want to be a pilot? You're black. And he's like, okay. And then they just like give him they just give him like the little hat. They give him his wings and they just throw him in the cockpit. And he's just looking at all the buttons. And he's just like, what? He's like, and then the passenger, the co-pilot, he's also black and he just got there too. And they're like, well, I guess we'll make it work. Like, is that what they actually think's happening? I just think it's so interesting. Actually, though, I think that may actually be it. Like, man, I ain't got no clue what I'm doing. And he's like, me too, bro. They're like, man, I have no clue what's happening, but if we land this plane, can you imagine the check we're gonna get? And he's like, yeah, man. And then they just take off. They just make it work. Yeah, I think that may actually what they believe is happening. I'm sorry, these people who get hired, not only are they black, but they're also qualified for the job. They're not scooping up just like random fucking people out of nowhere for this. Thank God Steven Crowder didn't cover the airplane story. Yeah, he would say the same. Yeah, like we all know when Steven Crowder talks about black people on stream, it always goes bad. It always goes bad. Yeah, these black pilots are going to pull drive-bys on white airports. Haha. They got the lean. Whoa, what like landing gear? All I know, I'm about to kick this gear into the Henny zone. Lean got me leaning. Henny got me turned. Like that's what Crowder's shit would be.
They have been trying to implement this existential threat against the American way of life. You know, I'm old enough to remember
racism?
That when you actually cared about people's skin color, you were rightly called a racist when you cared about people's skin color, where we should judge people based on character, not based on the color of their skin. We should judge them based on things they can change, not they can't change. But what the problem is so many people are afraid to even touch this because they're afraid of being called the worst thing you could be called in American society. And no, it's not an adulterer or an axe murderer.
I've heard this way too many times. I know he's going to say the worst thing that you can ever be called is a racist. I am going to tell you this now. I think more people would care if you're like a proven child like predator and not like just normally racist. Because if you're normally racist, then you'll find like a great community amongst like normal conservatives. But if you're like a pedo, you'll find a community with like conservatives, but like under the table. So
It's a racist. And it's too bad because there's a widespread issue with that term. There's a supply and demand issue with racism in America. America is such a un-racist, non-racist country. We have people like Jussie Smollett that need to make up racial incidents in the middle of the night in Chicago to try to prove that we are racist when he hires two Nigerian brothers wearing Make America Great Again hats when it's negative 30 degrees outside while he's going to Subway to try to prove that we're so racist. That's proof that there's not enough racism out there to prove the fact that America's racist. We're the least racist country ever to exist in the history.
Honestly, do you think that we should even be watching this on stream? I don't know if I can even like in good conscience watch someone suck their own dick so hard. Like, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if I can watch someone suck their own dick this hard on stream. I feel like this is coming up on TOS territory. You know what I mean? This is not good. He's going in for it, man. Well, one time someone like lied, so we're not racist. We're the least racist country to ever exist. Wait, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking? When did like Canada? When did Canada have like their civil rights movement? You know, when did other countries have their civil? When did we ban slavery? When did we ban Jim Crow? When did that happen? A lot later than our like sister nations, at least most of them. Listen, bro, you can say that like sometimes people lie. That's okay. Sometimes people lie about things. That's the way the world works, my brother.
Period.
Least racist, boys. We've done
We
it.
also are suffering under the virus of political correctness. Now,
No, that can't say slurs.
I'm going to say some things you're not allowed to say.
No, wait. TOS. Wait. Calm down. Wait. Chill, Charlie. I'm going to say some things I'm not allowed to say. And then political correctness. I'm going to say some things that they don't want me to say. And my man just starts, he flips over the page and starts reading off the Wikipedia list of slurs. What I have in front of me is the Wikipedia printed page of ethnic and racial slurs. I will now read every single one of them for you. Together we will defeat political correctness. If you know these ones, sing them along with me.
Only women can become pregnant. That's it. I said it. I know.
Incredible. I mean, listen, there's no law against being stupid. Like, once again, there are trans people. Trans people do exist. This is true. Trans people are real. Trans people exist. This is true. Nothing in your little brain will change that. But that's okay. Oh, it's just transphobia? Yeah, it's just a little bit transphobia.
There are only two genders.
Oh my gosh. All right, Grandpa.
Men are different than women. I know.
That's true though. I'm a man and I walk down the street and like I spot a woman and I'm like, oh my gosh. I feel that brave. Yeah, truly, truly on my stage being paid millions of dollars a year. Truly one of the most oppressed classes in America. Charlie Kirk. You know what? I see it. They see these conferences as like, has anybody ever played XCOM? Has anybody played XCOM? Okay. They see these conferences as like when XCOM is like, especially XCOM 2, where you're like there with the resistance group and you're like hunkered down in like in your base below the surface or whatever, or in their like carrier that they stole from the aliens. And this is them like talking about how they're going to overthrow the aliens from taking over Earth. You know, this is what they see themselves as. They're in this bunker. OK, they're the resistance cell. All right. They're the resistance cell that's against the machine, and they're here to turn it down. They're the counterculture. All right. They're getting better at comedy and the left is scared.
Why have we allowed this nonsense to get as far as it is? The reason, and we're breaking that right now at this conference, and to our amazing people watching online and to our amazing sponsors and the people streaming live on Fox Nation and all that, is this. We're breaking it because you need to not care what they call you when you say something that is true. You need to not care what they call you when you say something that is true. We live under...
His hair is so weird. I can't stop. I've been looking at it this entire time. My man's got like a backwards mullet going on. You know what I mean? It's just so weird. Now that's sussy. Stop caring. You say slurs, they call you racist. Stop caring. You say women are inferior, they call you sexist. Stop caring.
The tyranny of their social conformity.
The tyranny.
We live under the tyranny.
You get ratioed on Twitter. Stop caring.
That they hold the cards like, well, I might not be invited to the Cool Kids Club. Look around. You're at the coolest kids club in America right now, everybody.
Yeah, they are the coolest kids club. Do you guys want to be a part of the Cool Kids Club? You know what? It's so cool. The Cool Kids Club is so cool. They should like, you know, when like things get so cool, you replace the S with a Z. They should do that. But it's like the Cool Kids Club, but like replace the C's with K's. That'd be like really cool. That'd be like super cool. Yeah, the Cool Kids Club need to take a stand.
They hold the cards like, well, I might not be invited to the Cool Kids Club. Look around. You're at the coolest kids club in America right now.
The coolest kids club.
Who cares what they have? The point.
This is Dweeb Nation right now.
Is that everything they are, they accuse us of. They say, yeah, you know, the right is really intolerant. Meanwhile, you're not allowed to come on any college campus. Meanwhile, they say that, you know, we have a racial problem in the country, yet they're the ones that are focusing on people's skin color.
I know, this is just so weird. Turning Points USA is a whole thing that works on college campuses. What college campus is TPUSA not allowed to be on? So weird. And the right is racist. You are. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You have to, when you have problems with race, you need to.
People say, how do we retake the country? It can happen overnight. We can retake the country when decent people start to care more about a greater good and about what is right than whether or not their personal cost will be. And guess what? For some of you out there that are business owners, you say, well, Charlie, I can't push back against this. I might lose business. You're right.
Get ratioed.
Charlie, I don't know if I could speak out against this. I might not be able to get a job in my field. You're right. The question is, what matters more? That's the question. And
this is
the open secret that no one.
Now, this is some cult shit, okay? Charlie Kirk is like, being racist is so important to me and my friends. All right. I'm going to be perfectly fine because my whole business was built off of that. But you guys who live in like normal land, you guys are going to get fired. You guys are going to lose your jobs. But I'm telling you, man, being able to say slurs at people on the street is more important than your business, more important than your job, more important than your career, more important than your friends, more important than your family. Defoo, so you have the right to say slurs. Okay, buddy.
No one wants to tell you out loud. We will not defeat the left, and we will not destroy what they're trying to do without every single person in this room sacrificing some form of comfort. It's that simple. It will not happen.
Did you hear how like low that clap was? He's like, now it's your turn to sacrifice your life to the altar of America. And everyone's like, he got much bigger claps for everything else. Now they're just like,
sacrificing some form of the left, and we will not destroy what they're trying to do without every single person in this room sacrificing some form of comfort. It's that simple. It will not happen. If you think your life will just become instantaneously and immediately better no matter what, and you're also going to be able to stand for conservative principles and say only women can become pregnant, and say that America's the least racist country in the history of the world, and say that white privilege is a racist myth that doesn't exist, if you're willing to say these things, then yeah, you'll pay a price. But look around. When all of a sudden thousands and thousands and millions of people are saying it, they realize that all of a sudden they have been ruling under the tyranny of a minority, because there are more of us than them. There are more Americans that believe things that you do not have to overthink about. You don't have to say, do we need some sort of campus, lecture or study about whether men and women are different? Like, yeah, I mean, some ideas are so stupid you have to go to college to believe them. Like, we know that, right? I say that as we run a college organization. So, but
cool. Yeah, Charlie needs to chill. America the least racist? Yeah, he believes that America is the least racist. Like some people who have joined us now, you may not have seen it before, but yeah, Charlie believes that we are the least racist country to ever exist. 1776, America is the least racist country to ever exist. Everyone else is more racist than us. If you didn't know, we made slavery just so we could abolish slavery, and that was really cool because there are even countries that never had to abolish slavery, and that makes them more racist because we did it. You know what I mean? Come on. We even made it a whole amendment. Come on. Listen, we're so unracist. We even fought a whole war to make sure that we didn't have slavery. It was so cool. It was so pog. That's because we're anti-racist, boys. All right. We're so racist that we have to create we're so not racist. All right. That we made Jim Crow specifically so we could undo Jim Crow, because there are other countries who never even had to undo Jim Crow because they don't know what it's like to go through there, bro. They don't understand. They don't understand, bro. They don't understand. Yes, and they are the silent majority. If you didn't know, Charlie Kirk is everywhere, okay? He blends in like a leopard, all right? He's lurking in the shadows. You may not know it, but Charlie Kirk is on your doorstop. All right. Charlie Kirk is your neighbor. Charlie Kirk is everywhere. He is the silent majority. And one day he will rise up and then they will all come together. They will march to DC. All of the Charlies, they will merge into Mecca Charlie, and they will become the king, lord, czar, emperor of America for the end of our days. He'll just be too powerful to overthrow.
But it stops when we start to say we care about what is right in the future of the nation more than what they could do against us. We are a nation suffering from amnesia. Put simply, we are a nation that has Alzheimer's. We do not know our history.
Wait. Wait, America isn't even that old. How do we have Alzheimer's already, man? Is it early onset? What happened? Put simply, We have Alzheimer's. Is he going to wait, I need this. Wait, please, I beg of you. This freeze frame is also good. This freeze frame is good. It looked like someone just crawled up on stage and then took a shit. Like, look at the way he's looking. Wait, okay, wait. I'm sorry, please. I beg of you. I beg of you, please, Charlie. I need this. Can you please go on to say that America is the greatest nation, yet we have like, can he say that America is autistic? Will he be saying that? He's like, America is great. We're autistic. We'll get through it, boys. All right. Can you please say that? It's like, we have Alzheimer's. We're like a country, but we have like severe ADHD. We're like a country, but we're like someone with ADHD and ADD, and we forgot to take our Ritalin this morning. I need it, man. It's so good. It's so good. Severely disabled. We're a great nation. We're severely disabled. We're on a feeding tube, but we're doing great. We'll pull it back, boys. I promise. Yeah, it's true. Our nation is neurodivergent and a minor. It's true, because we're like one of the youngest nations on the planet. Okay, and we have Alzheimer's. We're neurodivergent and a minor. It's true. It's finally come full circle. America has Alzheimer's. Oh no! Wait.
Nation more than what they could do against us. We are a nation suffering from amnesia. Put simply, we are a nation that has Alzheimer's.
It's just his fucking face. After he make, he's like this point is bomb as fuck.
Very real.
He's like, people are gonna be talking about this for years. People are going to be talking about this moment this is going in the history books, man. We're like a nation, but we're like severely mentally disabled. I nailed it. Yeah, that line, that's a good one. That's a good one.
We do not know our history, our past, therefore we don't really know where to go forward. And we know our history intentionally.
It's a bad history.
Why do you think they're trying to take down the statues of Teddy Roosevelt, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln? Now, they say it's because those people were terribly racist and awful. It's a bunch of nonsense, you know. These people were heroes. They built the country that we get to enjoy. Okay?
Were they racist? I want to know. I want to know if Charlie Kirk thinks like owning and beating slaves to death is racist or not. I want to know if that's like a bad thing or not. I just want to know. I just want to know. I want to know if Charlie thinks that beating slaves to death is like super pog and we should be celebrating that, or we should think that it's bad. I want to know. I want to know what Charlie's position on like slavery is.
It's simple. It's nonsense. Instead, the reason is they don't want you to have a historical reference point of something that is amazing and mighty and courageous.
I don't think slavery was mighty, nor was it very courageous, personally. Who are they? People. They're dead. That's all you really need to know. They're dead.
They want you to act as if you're the first humans ever to exist. They want you to believe that no one came before you and might have actually sacrificed so you can live free. And the deeper significance of this, and this is why we as conservatives need to understand the broader game at play here, is that when they all of a sudden say, yeah, we're going to teach the 1619 Project, and by the way, Nicole Hannah-Jones, if you're watching this, the 1619 Project is total garbage, and you're a con artist, and it should be taken out of every single school in the country. It's absolute nonsense.
The 1619 Project was okay. There are lots of problems with the 1619 Project. It's definitely not perfect, but the 1619 Project's okay. It could be way worse. It got some, like, you know, the problem is they took a little bit of liberties to make some things work. The big problem with the 1619 Project is basically like you come up, you're like making things work to fit a narrative, and a lot of things in history don't like go together so neatly to form like a cohesive narrative a lot of the time, and this is why a lot of conservatives fall flat. What's the 1619? So the 1619 Project is basically a book and a work that basically talks about, you know how like people say like America was founded in 1776 or whatever, like a Declaration of Independence. The 1619 Project challenges that by saying that the country was actually founded in 1619, and that's when the first slaves were brought from Africa to America, because America, where we are right now, the fact that we're so rich, the fact that we were like prosperous, the fact that we had all this innovation and so quickly came off the backs of the extreme exploitation that like the free labor from like slavery brought us. And that's why we're not like a near like feudal state or something at the moment, or at least like a feudal state in the way that we would understand it today. Because it's really easy to make a lot of things very cheaply and very quickly, where the only cost that your workforce is like beating them and feeding them. And that's basic. You just have to keep them alive long enough for them to make something. And that's like basically it. It's like capitalism, like as strong as it can get, just like literal slavery. So if that's the case, and with like a lot of, and it's a reasonable like starting point, like the fact that we are where we are right now was built off of, because for as long as America has existed, we've had like slavery, right? Until like 1875, 1876, one of the two. So it looks at America through that lens of like the exploitation that led to the prosperousness that led to where we are today, right? And so it got a lot of awards for like journalism and everything, and they did a pretty decent job. The problem is that they took a little bit of liberties and they like bent some happenings a little bit. I don't know the details specifically. It's been a really long time since I've looked into the 1619 project, but they bent some things to kind of work for the narrative. And that's the big problem when you're like building narratives through like history. It like is good from like a narrative standpoint for like telling a story, but it's not always the best when it comes to figuring out exactly what happened. But it's more of like an analysis than anything else. And it's a decent analysis at that. But conservatives don't like it because it reminds us that like racism happened, and they can't be like, well, but we beat it though. 200 years removed from reality. Yeah, it's really easy to remove like the 200 years of human suffering from reality when you don't have to care about it.
Never does Nicole Hannah-Jones talk about how Thomas Jefferson actually banned the importation of slaves into the United States as one of his first acts as president in March of 1803. Never does Nicole Hannah-Jones actually ever talk about how Thomas Jefferson argued for the abolition of slavery as the Virginia governor in the 1790s. Never does Nicole Hannah-Jones from the 1619 Project ever talk about, in the original draft of the U.S. Declaration of Independence, did Thomas Jefferson actually admonish King George for bringing the sin of slavery to the United States. Never does Nicole Hannah-Jones say 9 out of 13 of the original colonies actually had abolished slavery by ratification of the U.S. Constitution. Never did Nicole Hannah-Jones ever teach your kids the first anti-slavery convention was where? Held in Philadelphia in 1775. Why? Because she's a liar and she shouldn't be a professor. That's
for one. All of those states were northern states. All of those states profited from slavery. Like, man, I don't know what to say. So the thing is, like, most of everything that he's saying is true. The problem is that, like, can you imagine this with anything else? Can you imagine this with like CP? Imagine if an entire nation was run off of CP, you know? That's its like biggest export. Haha, Japan. Wait, but like seriously, like imagine if like an entire its like biggest export was like CP, and that's like what it is, okay? And like, can you imagine if someone 200 years later goes, well, actually, we like weren't really that big on CP. If you like think about it, like a bunch, like a third of the states like said CP was actually kind of bad, and then like they said CP wasn't like that great, even though the same person who said that the CP wasn't great had their own CP farm in their basement. Like sure, like you know, that was like cringe and everything, but you know, it was like super cool. Yeah, you can only sell 3/5 of the CP that you make. You know? Yeah, listen, like I said, just sidestepping the 3/5 compromise, all that stuff, just sidestepping it. Yeah, children are considered 3/5 of an adult. Yeah, there you go. Can you imagine? Like, you know what? That'd be a great like debate topic, or like that'd be a great debate dunk. Can you imagine if you like gave a conservative one of these conservatives a hypothetical about a country whose like profits ran off of CP, and then you like just replaced everything that happened with slavery, but with like CP in this like imaginary country. And can you imagine them be like, oh my gosh, that's so terrible, that country should be burned to the ground. And then they're like, what about American slavery? And then it'd be another dolphin. It'd be a Charlie Kirk dolphin meme. It'd be great. That'd be a good clip.
You shouldn't be teaching your children anything about U.S. history. Doesn't teach any of that. But the point is not any of that. The deeper point is that
yeah, my grandpa was really good to his child sex slaves. Yeah, listen, he was actually he was one of the nicest child sex slaves in the country. Honestly, people always mocked him for how nice he was to his child prisoners.
We have to have the humility and the understanding that you stand on the shoulders of people before you that even allowed you to have freedom. Imagine the pride, the hubris it would take to say that everything I have is a byproduct of my own action. That's basically what they say every single day. Is that anything before you was racist and terrible and awful? We know it's exactly the opposite. And that's rooted.
This man has Mr. Crowder as a stan. Oh, Charlie Kirk is a stan user. Steven Crowder is his stan. And only if you're standing, and he can only use his stand powers if he's standing between if he's standing like in between you and an American flag, okay, and the Steven Crowder stand turns all the air around you into within like a 3-foot radius of your skin into dog cum. There you go. That's it. I see it. I see it. This is good. This is good. We'll pitch this to the studio who makes the JoJo's anime. I think they're gonna like this one. Stand name Tears of a Clown. Oh, dude, that's good. That's good. Stand user Charlie Kirk. Stand name Sweet Home Alabama. No, anything but that. That's not good. The boo juice. Stop that. Stop that. He doesn't have juice. We took his testicles.
In gratitude. You see, gratitude, if a nation is thankful.
He can only use his power. He can only use his stand powers around college students who don't care about politics. Oh, yeah, 100%.
If a nation has gratitude, then all of a sudden it's harder to have a revolution, isn't it? Do you notice that people don't say thank you as often as they used to?
What the fuck is this? What is this like Christmas story that he's telling everyone right now? Have you noticed that our great value of gratitude is gone? Have you noticed you walk around and people don't even say thank you? No one says thank you anymore. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about, man? What's happening?
Just in interpersonal relationships, but also thank you to the parents that raised you, that allowed you to have the opportunities you have. Thank you to the organizations or efforts that try to make America a freer place, or most importantly, thank you to God for giving you life, because life is really special. Now,
I don't know, man. Like from like what I've been hearing in chat and from a lot of other people, a lot of people aren't very thankful to their parents. A lot of parents are like pretty dog shit ass. I will tell you that much. And a lot of those parents, they don't deserve a thank you. They're bad people. So if you guys are in chat and some of your parents are ass, don't say thank you to them. Do not. Like, I mean, be as respectful as you can, but if they're just bad people, you don't have to say thank you. Sorry. Preacher Kirk incoming. Dude, listen, this whole thing is giving me like sermon vibes and in the worst way possible.
Now, why is that important? As soon as you say thank you, it slows you down and actually makes you a happier person and a less bitter person. And what we're experiencing.
Oh, and like, I would 100% say like, and I don't know if I have any like religious people here. For me personally, I find a lot of freedom in like forgiveness. That's just like me personally. I don't like holding grudges, even if they don't like deserve an apology. I like forgiveness. I think it's like good to like let things go, you know. But I know not everybody is like that, and it may not work for everybody. But for me, even like, you know, even if you don't tell them straight up, just like in your heart, just mill that over and then like forgive them. I feel like that can be a good thing for some people, but you know. Grudges do be exhausting. That's true. Yes, I will say thank you to my dad for all the emotional abuse. He sure is the one responsible for my trauma. I'm so thankful. Hey, listen, trauma, it makes for good stand-up comedy. So he could have just kickstarted your stand-up career. I'll see you at the local nightclub, Chief.
Is a generation of students and young people that are being trained to do this, but also by, the self-righteous ruling class that are basically saying that you have nothing to be thankful for and you have nothing to be thankful to. You see, we have a totally different perspective. We say we're small in this unwinding plan all around us.
We're small.
That life is a miracle in and of itself. The fact that we have consciousness and our ability to breathe is something so beyond even human reason. And the fact you're able to live in a country where you can gather like this and be around amazing friends. Let's just talk about the West. You think gatherings like this are happening in Australia right now? How about the United Kingdom, Germany, Austria? Of course not. You have 10 people in a room in Australia, they bring in the police.
What the fuck is happening? Do I have any Australians here? Have you seen a room of 10 people yet without the Australian SWAT team kicking down your doors and sending in like armored emus with like miniguns strapped to their wings, just like mowing people down, just fucking Tiananmen squaring any like little office building? Does that happen like on a day-to-day basis in Australia? Fuck you as a party with you. Like I said, conservatives, they just lie. They just lie to people. Charlie Kirk lies as easily as he breathes, all right? Really legit chilling. Where it's a pre-COVID. Yes, they're at pre-COVID because they don't have to care about this anymore. Also, Cyberchunk, thank you so much for the host. Appreciate you. Don't joke about emus. Humanity has already lost the war. Yeah, and that's why the disgusting COVID plague rats who are sitting in rooms of 10 get like their shit kicked in by them.
And yet here we have 10,000 people gathered in a room. There's something special about that. It's unique.
That's not a good thing.
But put simply, is that, and we all know this.
Plague rats.
The nation is not going to save itself. We are living on the last gasp of the sacrifices of the generation that stormed Normandy Beach, the last gasp of the generation that gave us this. And so here's the question, and I think I know the answer. Will our generations, millennials, Generation Z right there, are we willing to do what is necessary to sacrifice what might feel good for something that is good? Because guess what? Our opposition, we have an amazing advantage. Their ideas are awful. They tend to be very angry, bitter people. They're always trying to destroy, and they've never built anything in their life.
Shark,
it's just so weird. Like, it's just a story that they're telling themselves. It's just so it's like a little nighttime story. This is what they need before they go to bed after a long day of crying and molding, that like a trans person like took a shit in the bathroom and then washed their hands and then went on with their shopping at Target. After they've been like pissing and shitting themselves over that, they need Charlie Kirkarino. They have him on like on the TV crying into their MAGA hat, drooling, snotting, and crying into their MAGA hat. They pull it off their face, and Charlie Kirk goes, "We're gonna defeat them. We're gonna do it. We're gonna stop them. They're stinky. They're stinky, and they don't wash their butt plugs. They're stinky." And they're like, "Yeah, Charlie, we're gonna do it. We're gonna beat him." Okay, bud. Yeah, after a long day of getting ratioed. Yeah, well, one ratio. Just so you know, with a lot of conservatives, they are one ratio away from being where they are now to listening to Charlie Kirk. Okay, one ratio. Trev Tennessee with the tier 1 for joining the frenzy, being incredibly pog. Appreciate you. Thank you. My butt plug is immaculate, pristine. Okay, if you say so. Don't let me stop you. This is how they detox after a year of getting ratioed on the Bird app. Oh yeah, dude. After building up all of those deadly toxins, they need one of these. They need a Charlie Kirk sermon. One ratio away from being into, like, they go Joker mode, man. If you didn't know, on the TP USA like online website, they have a little like they have a mold. They have like a Joker paint mold, it comes in, it's the exact shape of you. Take a picture and they have like great technology that molds it just like your face, and you just put the paint in there and you like put it on, you just take it right off, and it's like instant Joker makeup. And that's what happens when you get your final ratio. Your final ratio on the Bird app. You're in like a back and forth discussion, and someone quote tweets you, calls you ugly and stupid. They get 50,000 likes. You hit the Joker makeup stencil, and then you just go crazy. Do you see that one TERF UK politician who printed out some anime meme saying she got ratioed? I haven't, but that sounds hilarious. As you know, madness is like gravity. All it takes is a little ratio.
This meme is very real.
Ever. And so we have this advantage where we get to be the ambassadors of gratitude and optimism, of large families and getting married early and having lots of children. We get to be the ambassadors of reality, of things that you could see. As Thomas Jefferson said, the laws of nature and nature's God. I want to do one housekeeping.
Listen, bro, I'm sorry. You can keep pumping out those conservative babies. So here's the thing that's really wacky. Like, conservatives say that they're like richer and they like work harder than like lefties. But if that's the case, if you get richer, you're less likely to have a lot of kids. There are so few people who are like very rich and also have a lot of kids. That typically doesn't go together. So if you guys are like very rich, you don't have many kids. And if the left is very poor, they have like a lot of kids. Isn't that the whole reason why they like bitch and moan about like Hispanic people coming from like torn up countries like through the border, because they have more kids than the native population? But whatever, I guess. So they're breedable. I mean, some conservative women are very breedable. This is true. I mean, I still think like the stay-at-home mom cottagecore look is very cute. I think those girls are very breedable. But once again, that's just me. He's drawn like a bad anime. Oh no. Oh no. I think they're very breedable, but that's just me. I know I have a lot of people in chat who don't feel the same way. When I'm like the cottagecore stay at home mom look is very cute. Some people do not like. Some people do not agree, and they're wrong, but that's okay. You can just be wrong. That's fine. Even with the ruffled sleeves. Nah, his sleeves are fucked up. His jacket is too small for him. Yeah, the cottage, like, I like the cottagecore, but with like a little bit less misogyny. Like a little misogyny, like as a treat. And if that's the case, they can have like a little bit of misandry, but like as a treat, but not too much, you know? Not like overpowering, just like a little undertone. I think that's great.
Thing. Raise your hand if you came to this event alone, not knowing anybody. Raise your hand. Okay. If you are part of a Turning Point chapter, or you know other people, go find people that just raised their hand and make sure by the end of tonight they know somebody else. The fact that young people, we have high school kids that traveled the country alone just to be here, and it's amazing. They should not leave this event or this room tonight without somebody saying, "Hey, do you want to hang out with us? Hey, do you want to get to know us?" Whatever. The point is that that's a leap of faith, and we want to make sure that we help you guys out in any way possible. In closing, let me say this. This event is so special. And this all started...
Is this Tucker Carlson?
When I was 18 years old, and I wanted to say thanks to Bill Montgomery, who's passed away, for his amazing mentorship and help, for what he did for all of us in this room. What are we fighting for in America? Only in America. Freedom as well. Only in America, though, could an 18-year-old with no money, no college, no connections, and no idea what he was doing start something from nothing in a small garage in Lamont, Illinois. And one thing led to the other, to now the largest grassroots conservative freedom movement in the country. And that's...
What the fuck is happening? This is not a grassroots movement. You take money from billionaires. This is not a grassroots movement. What does grassroots mean to you? No money. All right. Yes, we all know that America is the only place in the world where you can make anything. We all know that. I'm sorry if I have any fucking losers from other countries in chat right now, but I'm sorry that you were born in such an absolute squalor, in such the shithole of a country, like the absolute joke of a country that you live in, that you think that your people, barely even people, like you, like, kind of people think you can make something. I'm sorry. Here in America, we're the only people who can make things. You guys don't make things. You only steal. All right. Just like the filthy rat thieves you are. We're the only country. All right. In America, everyone else is fake. We're the only country on the planet, America, and nobody else can even hold a candle. This is true. Many people are saying this.
Thanks to you. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's Charlie. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. These trap beats. These trap beats. AstroTurfed. Thank you guys. Hey, drop the dubstep audio, guys. Okay, yeah, that was something.